Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Ferruccio here. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me today on this video. Here is where I provide young fitness professionals with direction, purpose, and resilience as you try and navigate your way through life. Look, it's a difficult journey today. We're going to talk about a small topic of where to start. It's a question I got asked last week by a person, young trainer, coach, looking to get into the industry, didn't have any qualifications. It was like, look, applied for a job. I was like, how do I get going with this sort of thing? So look, from my point of view, first step is you got to get your level 3 personal training certificate. Not that it's maybe a very useful course or, it teaches you the very bare bones. You can do it in 4 weeks or up to 6 months, depending on what you're doing, which course you take. But essentially, you got to do it. It's a tick box activity. You get it in, you get it done, and then you move on to the next thing. Some of the ones I like, I've seen good coaches from and seen some of the content myself. NASM is very good. ISSA, NSCA, these are some names thrown out there, but generally it doesn't really matter. The main thing is get the certification, learn some of the basics, and then you got to get on with the next step. Second step is finding a gym and get working. Get doing it. No point reading about it or watching all these videos on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and everything else. Sure, do that. At the same time, you've got to find a gym to get working in. Get on the gym floor. Start training people. Even if you can't even get a job or whatever it is, to get into a gymnasium or to a studio or whatever it is, just start training someone. Train your sister, train your parents, train your families, train a friend, whatever it is. When I started off, it was just training I used to try and train my dad. Didn't really work, but then it's trying to train a friend. I had mates who used to play rugby, used to give them programs, any opportunity I could. And then it's just trying to find it. And I always recommend you start at the bottom. I've seen too many trainers who come, they had a first career as such, they had a first job, they do the PT qualification and they start training. But because of their age, or maybe what they were earning before, or whatever it is, they believe they can just jump straight in and they should be treated a certain way and should have this earning potential. It doesn't work like that. If you choose to make a career choice, start your life over again, that's your decision. But you got to accept that you're a beginner again. You have a training age or a PT experience age of 0. So you're a baby. You got to start all over again, and that's goes with wet territory, if you know what I mean. So get in. You got to start from the bottom, and this is you got to always get. You got to think future proofing. Think for the future, long term, right? Once I do become a fitness instructor or a gym floor or whatever, a gym instructor on the floor, and I'm going to become a PT, and then I want to be a head of fitness or a manager and business owner, all this sort of stuff. It's always important to start at the bottom and get those foundations. Too many trainers, physios do not have the foundation. Getting in and doing the hard work, doing the long hours, coming in first and leaving last, sweeping under the treadmills, whatever it is. When I was 17 or 18, that's where I started. Exactly the same thing. Getting under, staying in the gym till 10, 11 o'clock at night, closing the gym, opening the gym. Because now, 15 years later, I understand it. And when you're leading businesses or you're leading teams, it's important to be able to relate and talk to those people. I know it's something that I believe in, not only from a training point of view, but also leading people when I'm in a team, is that I would never expect you to do something that I would not be prepared to do myself or ever done myself. And that's because you can't talk to them. I know the feeling of staying till 11 o'clock or being in the gym at 5 a.m. and then turning the lights on, cleaning the gym, getting the Hoover out. I've done it and I still do it today. It's not a problem. And this is where a lot of people haven't done that. They've skipped out the processes. They've done their PT now and they've done it maybe later in their career or in their life, and they think, right, I can go straight into just being this boss, because I'm already 30 odd years old or late 20s or something like this. No, you got to earn it. You got to earn your stripes. And again, it's short-term thinking. Then you can't relate or have the empathy, which is critical, for growth in terms of, being in a leadership sort of role or a leadership position, how others can respond to you. So definitely, you got to get in the gym, start trying to find someone, do the work, get a job. At the bottom, ideally, start training people at your home, try and train people from a distance online. Just find a way to work. Just get doing stuff. Don't just sit around waiting and thinking. I've seen trainers who are like, oh yeah, I got my certification 6 months ago, a year ago, and they still haven't started training people. It's like, well, what are you doing? And they said, well, I was like, how much are you charging? Oh, I'm charging like £65 or £70 the equivalent, or £100 the equivalent. I was like, based off what? You've got no experience. Yes, you got a qualification. Yes, you train yourself pretty well. Maybe you are an athlete. That doesn't mean you know how to coach people. The best athletes generally are not the best coaches. because they've never had to go through, and then they've maybe been a beginner once, but then they become a specialist very quickly, or for whatever reason. You see it in many different sports and different arenas. So there's this entitlement, and that's what you got to be careful of. Be humble, get at the bottom, and you got to work. This is your decision, to be in the fitness industry. And if you want a long, lengthy, and remunerated career, you gotta start at the bottom and work your way through it. There's no shortcuts. Professionals, even myself, will give you some of the secrets. Sometimes you cannot cut, you can't shortcut time. Time is time. You got to spend time in the trenches. Those 10,000 hours, if you believe that or not, it takes that long, but whatever it is, it's time. You got to spend time doing it, practicing it, application of all these different things, from that side of things. So, and not being scared to get in. So, those are my big two things. Get the PT qualification, then you got to get stuck in. Find a way to start training people. Don't overcharge. Train people for free. There's no harm in that. You got no experience. So why should you charge? Find a friend, find a family member, find someone who'll be willing to train, they're a marathon runner or whatever they want to do a bit of training. Perfect. Just train them for free, offer your services. Why should you charge people? And then build it. Every new client you get on board, charge a little bit more. Then you maybe charge £10. I used to charge £5. I know when I was 18, even 17 before I really started, I used to say, train people free, then the next person £5, and then by 5 years later, I was charging the most expensive rates within my gym. I was more than double, triple what everyone else was charging at the gym, because gradually I got more and more results, more and more good feedback, more testimonials, and then I could charge that amount. But at the beginning, there's no way I could charge that. One of my first time clients, but those first guys, because they took the biggest risk with me, they still paid me the same rate. If they wanted to pay me more, it was up to them. Otherwise, I kept them on the same rates, because they entrusted their bodies, their health, and everything in me when I was still new. So for me, they stayed exactly the same. And then every new client came on board, I charged a bit more. And that's the way you should. Those guys who first took the biggest risk with you, they entrusted in you, do not go and start raising their rates. Leave it up to them. If they see the value is improving because you're going off and doing more courses, you're getting more experience, you're getting more results, you're getting more whatever it is, then let them do that. And that was one of my first clients. He was exactly the same. I used to charge him £30 when he first met me. By the end, without me asking for it or anything, he used to pay me £60 for it. So he doubled within 3 years or 4 years. So that's what you want to be able to do, because I was active and proactive with my career, with my learning. I used to go do courses and mentorships and travel and go see people and everything else. So take that advice on. If you're not sure, just looking to know what to do, get the certification, get your insurance basically. Then you just got to find a way to start training people. Online, offline. Preferably offline is better and easier first. Get some clients, start building up, start free, start building up the prices as you start getting more clients and you get some results and you can actually show something for your work. Building up your portfolio. Third thing would be to find your mentor. Get in an apprenticeship, get on a mentorship as soon as possible. As soon as you're in your PT qualification, you're trying to find a bit of work. So you have some case studies as such, find a mentor. That's got to be the number one thing. That's what's going to accelerate your career, your growth, your personal development, your growth development the most out of anything, rather than trying to do more courses and get so much information in your heads, and then you're practicing some of the basics, which is great, but the third step is you got to find a mentor. Find someone in the area that you feel you're weakest. If it's everything initially, then you find a generalist, who's good at kind of everything, or PT, or if you're in boxing or strength and conditioning or whatever it is, find someone to work under you. You work for them for free. You don't ask for anything, or you pay. If it's a paid mentorship, save some money up, and then you pay the £2,000 or £1,500, whatever these normal mentorships are. You pay for it, and you will get your money back in the future, 100% and a lot more. And that's what you should be looking at. If you can't quadruple or 10 times the amount from what you paid from that course, then it's not a great course. And it's got to be a course that you can commit to part of it, if not all of it, in person. Don't just do all of it online. These online courses, most of them are okay, but there's nothing beats in person. Working alongside a great coach or a great physiotherapist or whatever it is, that mentorship that has been in the trenches 10, 15, 20, 30 years, whatever it is. And that's how I got started. I was very fortunate enough. I got picked up when I was 17 years old. I met this guy. He was a rehabber, strength coach. He was everything. Absolutely. Rob Walsh, he knew everything from physio side of things, from SSC side of things, from personal training side of things, soft tissue side of things, everything. I had no idea how lucky I'd been to bump into him. He saw the hunger in me, the thing, something different about me. I worked with him for the next 7 years. He got me into this industry. I was going off a different route. I was going off to go in the city, go do languages. I was off doing Spanish and Russian, if you can believe that. I'm going to go and totally different route. And then I met him, and then after a year or so doing languages, I was like, this is not my thing. I don't want to go into being a translator or work in government or work in banking or whatever else. I had too much energy. I was a rugby player. I loved the gym. I just wanted to get involved. And then he helped me transition. And then this is where then he opened up my eyes. So many trainers, so many people are so narrow. They're looking at life through a straw. And you can't look at life through a straw. You've got to be a broad vision because there's so much out there. And you've got to be very careful not to believe in things straight away. Don't believe in anything. In my opinion, don't believe in any sort of system or anything that's there. They're all tools in the toolbox, and then you use them as and when you need to. And that's what I learned many lessons from him. But that's it, because if I hadn't met him, it's such a slow process. I met trainers and interviewed trainers who they got their first qualification and they had got no other CPD, no other courses, no other mentorships, no other skill sets, no other tools in their toolbox for 10 years. What are you doing? You know what I mean? More tools you have in your toolbox, more problems you can fix. If you only have a hammer to hammer in a nail, but you've got a screw, you're screwed. Because someone else has got to get that. You've got to get another guy who could fix that problem, a screwdriver in, you know what I mean? So you've got to expand your toolkit. Skill sets is the big thing. So education, you've got to learn more skills, go do more courses, go meet new other people. You find a coach, a mentor, or an apprenticeship, whatever it is, that way you can really learn a lot of things from them, not just one thing. Maybe later on the line, you're looking for more specialists if you want to go that route. Otherwise, looking for generalists, people who do a bit of everything. The soft side, the low intensity, the hard stuff, the high intensity, whatever it is. Get a broad picture. Because when you're in the picture, you can't see the picture. So you need someone in your life to be able to mentor you, be that person who can guide you, see where your holes are, where your gaps is in your knowledge, in your learning, or in your coaching, or whatever it is in your lifestyle. Be able to point those out to you, be able to work on it and go from there. Look, and that's it. If you're really struggling, this is why I'm creating these videos. I'm creating this community bit by bit, slowly, as a resource, as a place where if you're totally confused, if you have no one, you don't know where to go, this is why I'm here, is to be able to provide you with direction, purpose, and resilience through this maze and puzzle we call life, be able to guide you and point you. So if you need help, I'm going to be setting up programs, setting up products and services in the future for people like yourselves who are watching this video, if you're still watching this video now, and be able to point you in the right direction, work directly with me and with some of my other consultants so that we can get you in the right place. I managed to build a good network over the last 15 years. And even if I can only point you to one person, that person may know another 50, 100 people to be able to point in the direction. And this is what I'm creating here with the Fitness Executive Academy, which is eventually what it will become, is this community and be able to provide you with the right direction and where you need to go, because there's so many great coaches out there, so many great trainers out there, so many great people who are willing to help. For me, it's me being able to provide you either working with myself directly or be able to connect you with the right people in our networking space. And this is what the intention of these videos is, be able to provide that. And for me, just to give you information, give you the experience, give you the things I've learned, the mistakes, so you don't fall down the same rabbit holes or make the same mistakes that I did when I was your age as a young coach. I'm still learning now. I'm getting further and further away from coaching directly, more into business development, leading teams, and this is the stuff I'm passionate about. But for you as a trainer, these are my top 3 things for you to be able to start. If you're looking to get into this career, these are the 3 first steps you need to get your PT certification, start training people free, basically, and then you get on a mentorship. As soon as you find someone, work for free, and then when you deserve to be paid, you start picking things up, then you get some money. Okay, but you got to be willing to sacrifice your time for nothing initially. You got to be hungry, get in there, and then you start training, and then you can start earning some money. It's from there. And this doesn't matter if you're an electrician, if you're a plumber, the apprenticeships start. You get in there, you work for nothing, then you got to deserve it. After 3 months, maybe they'll start paying you. Then they find you a little job in the gym or in the studio, whatever it is. Maybe edit some videos, whatever it is, and you get going from there, and then you build. Okay, so look, I hope that was useful. Any comments or questions, please, put them down below. Like, subscribe. If you like this video, I'm going to be doing more videos as we go along, and we'll catch you next time. Okay.